What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today we're here to talk about Yamato. So we've already made videos and showcases for all of the New Year's Legends so far. Haven't had a chance to do Yamato yet, so that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video, and using her in a couple of different arenas, a little bit different ones from the other showcases that we've already done. This one obviously against Hawkins, using a bit of a synergy here between K-Dad and Yamato. You got Yamato's captain ability, which is interesting because it does allow you to resist 10 turns of bind, which is great. Synergizing that with K-Dad with the full team of slashes allows us to resist 10 turns of attack down, and K-Dad is a very, very good unit to use as a captain against this Hawkins content. But using Yamato as a captain, I've kind of found a few things about this unit as to like some things that I really do like and some things that I really don't like either. But her captain ability just across the board is actually really good. I mean, you give like lots of cooldown, which is really nice. Like, it gives cooldown initially, but then you get additional cooldown when you reach stage 3. So I think that's actually really neat. You know, lots of HP, really good attack multipliers, boosting striker and slasher characters, but does still give boosts to other characters as well. Lots of matching slots passively, and then you have this effect where every time a slasher or a striker uses a special, it actually not only reduces her own special like switch gauge by 1, but it also reduces her own cooldown, which is really cool too. And that only works as a captain when she's in her dual form. When she's in her solo form, you don't get cooldown that way. But still, it's a really neat effect. But when you use her as a captain and then you continuously use specials of strikers and slashes, it does also passively increase the attack of final tap characters. Now, this has actually been found out to not specifically mean characters that activate a final tap. This is actually just referring to you tapping for the 6th time in a turn. So if you just like on like stage 1, you know, you tap 6 times, you use all your taps, that actually counts as a final tap. It's not specifically referring to a character that activates final tap, which I think is actually kind of fascinating. But another thing about this unit that I think is actually it's okay, but I really would have loved if the switch effect just did a little bit more, because her entire kit is like focused around this effect of buffing final tap. But like, her switch effect doesn't really help you that much. It does remove despair and slot bind. It does give her a Wano slot every single turn, which I guess is kind of neat, and then giving the buff to final tap. But in my opinion, it just doesn't do a whole lot. I would have loved if this switch effect did something a little bit more, you know, powerful, because if you use her as a sub, then, you know, the switch effect really doesn't do a lot for you aside from getting that that Wano slot. So to be honest, the switch effect really needed a bit more improvement, honestly. But I think that's just the big issue with this unit, is because the switch gauge is so high, and I get that you're supposed to use specials to reduce it, but if you're using this naturally, and especially as a crewmate, you're never really going to get this switch effect unless you do a lot of stalling. So when you actually use this character, you're going to be getting a lot of stalling in, because to get that super switch, it's not going to be easy. And I guess in a super boss Kizuna sense, that is actually going to be really powerful. But the thing is, you actually want to be switching as much as you possibly can, because that continuous switching will allow you to get the final tap buff every single time she switches. In her normal switch effect, you get a 5% bonus, and then her super swap gives you a 10% bonus, and that can actually stack up to 200%. And if you know how math works, 200% is actually giving you a 3 times bonus, right? Because 100% is a 2 times bonus, 100% boost. So a 200% boost is a 3 times bonus to the character that taps next, which is actually really good, giving you up to a 3 times bonus attack boost if you can get there, but it's very, very difficult to get to that point. And then I guess let's talk about this character's special ability, because the special is a really big highlight for this unit. It's a damage dealing special. It does remove 7 turns of Rainbow Shield, so it's nice that there's a bit of utility there. It does apply resistance down, 20% resistance down for Striker and Slasher characters, which this character being both of those classes gives you quite a lot of damage increase. But the resistance down only occurs when you use the special in the dual form. If you use it in the solo form, that does not actually occur. If you use the special whilst in a dual form though, you get a really big color affinity boost to Striker Slashes, 2.75 times, and you also inflict the enemy with increased damage taken, and it goes through full immunity buffs. So that gives you a lot of additional damage there. Resistance down, which this character gets both effects of, because both being Slasher and Striker gives you the ability to, you know, give you quite a lot of additional damage. You know, it's a 20%, so it's like a 1.2 boost, giving you like 1.4, and especially if you account for the EX Super, which not only will give you additional stats for herself as well, because she is going to be a Striker character, so you get lots of stats from that as well. Just all these little minor passive boosts multiply together to give you big damage output. And then increased damage taken is obviously very good. And the really cool thing is if you already have increased damage taken inflicted on the enemy and you use Yamato's special, it will actually buff the increased damage taken to 2.25. Now, it's not a plus 2.25. It's just basically like whatever the multiplier is, it will buff it all the way up to a 2.25 times multiplier, which is very, very good. In a lot of cases, that's about as good as you're going to get for increased damage taken, which is strong. So the special ability is very good, but you only get the best benefit out of it if you use it while she's in her dual form, and in order to get that to occur, you need her super switch, and that's gonna take you a very, very long time to get. So that just feels like the core issue. It's kind of similar to Luffy and Yamato in a way. When Luffy Yamato came out, that unit was also kind of really finicky to use, having to get that super switch to get the dual form to activate. And I will admit that this character is better designed. It's a lot easier to get this super switch to activate the way you want compared to Luffy Yamato. But it does still require a lot of time and thinking about how you're actually going to use this when you compare it to something like, you know, Zoro Sanji, which does take a little bit of thinking to know how to use, and also Roger Oden. These characters are way more easier to use, even Gear 5 Luffy, right? This character, a little bit more trickier to use, and the output you get out of it is very good. But overall, it's just, it's really, really annoying having to use this unit the way that they want you to use it. So of course, when you actually eventually get the EX Super to activate, you do get a really cool effect, I guess. You get the damage reduction, the 70% damage reduction. You also get -2 cooldown, and you do get a 20% bonus to the next final tap character. So all of these effects make sense for the kit itself, but like in a standstill, if you just look at this character in a vacuum, it doesn't actually help you like a whole lot, like in a lot of random pieces of content. But the damage reduction is key, because if you look at the final tap of this character, the final tap actually is very, very strong. So, first of all, you get the 700 base attack boost, which is a very odd number. I don't know why they did 700, but it is what it is. And you get damage reduction based attack boost. Now, this is this is the best version of % damage reduction based attack boost we have seen. So, basically, if you actually look at level 3 final tap, that is like what you would normally get. So 70% damage reduction is a 1.7 boost. We understand that. At level 4, instead of a 70% damage reduction giving you 1.7, they actually make it a 150% bonus. So instead of being 1.7, it's going to be 2.05. And then at level 5, as you're seeing on screen, it is a 70% bonus, being a 2.4 times attack boost. So it's 200% of what you would normally see from % damage reduction based attack boost. So that gives you a hell of a lot of damage, and you gotta remember, right, you gotta have like, you know, stat boost from being super class. You also gotta add all of these different percentage buffs you're getting every time you switch, every time you use a special when she's a captain, when you use her EX Super. You're adding all of these slight percentage increases to the next final tap character, so that when you actually perform Yamato's final tap, you can potentially get this 2.4 bonus and then a 3 times bonus on top of that, with each of these percentage increases. So if you use her the way they intend you to use her, she has one of the best final taps one of the like hardest hitting things in the game. But it's about getting to that component, which is very, very difficult to do. So let me know your thoughts and opinions about Yamato down below in the comment section. Really hope you guys enjoyed this one. And if you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.